Find somewhere quiet where you can be undisturbed. It's good to use a space that you can designate as your meditation space. Over time, that space acquires an energy and association with the practice. The act of returning to it creates a calm state of mind. There's no set time to do a meditation, but if you can commit to the same time every day, it helps to make it a steady part of your life. If you're a morning person and first thing in the morning is good, just taking 10 minutes to sit and center yourself puts you in a positive state that you can take into the rest of your day. Or if you prefer, meditating in the evening is a good way to wind down from the day and get a good night's sleep. Ultimately, it'll come down to what feels right for you. In Zen, as in all meditation schools, we take some time to bring ourselves into the body. We do that initially by either sitting cross-legged on a cushion on the floor or on a chair. If you're going to sit on the floor, you want to be comfortable, so if you have difficulty sitting with crossed legs this way, the chair is a better option. If you're sitting on a chair, make sure your feet are flat on the floor. You want your hips to be above your knees, so if you need to use a cushion to raise yourself a bit, that's fine. If you're sitting on the floor cross-legged, the cushion will elevate your hips and your knees will be resting on the floor or close to it. You can use a mat or a blanket under the cushion to give your feet and legs some extra support. Sit with your back upright, not ramrod straight. You want to be straight and relaxed at the same time. Having your hips above your knees encourages a straight back. Keep your neck in line with your spine. Tuck your chin in slightly. Let your tongue rest lightly against the roof of your mouth just behind your teeth. Your eyes stay open. Now, place your hands in your lap, palms upward. Place your left hand over your right and touch your thumbs together lightly. Relax your shoulders. Breathe naturally through the nose. Now just take a few breaths and see how it feels to sit like this. Bring your awareness to the top of your head. Now slowly work from the top of your head and notice any areas of tension in your face and your neck. Move on to your shoulders, back and chest. Notice how your arms and hands feel. Extend your awareness through the lower body, hips, thighs, knees, calves and feet. If you want to adjust your position, go ahead. It may help to move from side to side just to get your sitting bones in the right place. You don't want to be tilted to one side or slouched over. Take a little time just to sit and breathe. Feel the breath as it enters your nostrils and how it fills your lungs. Then feel it again as you exhale, leaving the body. Notice the natural rise and fall, the taking in and letting go. Let the breath regulate itself. There's no need to force it, just let it find its own rhythm. If you find your mind wandering, that's completely fine and natural. When you notice this, just bring your mind back to the breath. Feel the sense of stability in your posture. You're sitting firmly on the earth. At the same time, there's a sense of lightness in the upper body. Think of your head as being suspended from the sky by an invisible thread. Let's sit like this now for 10 breaths, upright and relaxed. Your awareness of the breath coming into the body and going out again. Notice the pause that occurs between your exhalation and the next inhalation. Let the breath be as it wants to be. To help your focus, you can count these 10 breaths. Count 1 on the exhale, then 2 on the next exhale, all the way to 10. If you get distracted, don't worry. When you realize you're distracted, just return to the number you left off on, or start again from 1. Okay, let's just breathe like this. Remember, natural breathing through the nose. Be aware of the body rising as you inhale and falling as you exhale. So that should be about 10 breaths. How did you get on? Just become aware of your body again now. Is it more relaxed? More tense? Have you shifted position? Just notice these things. Don't judge yourself. Meditation is not an endurance test or a competition. If you've never meditated before, it may seem a little daunting. Or it may have been a breeze. Some days it seems very easy, and others not so easy. That's also quite natural as you begin a meditation practice. It's important just to notice the experience and not to judge it. In the next session, I'll talk more about the breath and thoughts. For now, just remember that there's nothing mysterious or special about creating the right state of mind for meditation. Just sitting the way you have been for the past 10 minutes has already taken you to that state of mind. See you in the next session. Hi, and welcome back to session 2 in this Zen meditation course. So, let's come to a seated position in whichever posture you prefer. either sitting on the floor or on a chair. Place your hands in your lap in the palms upwards position, left over right, and with thumbs lightly touching. You can place your right hand over your left if this feels more comfortable. It's sometimes recommended that your dominant hand should be underneath, but again, work with what feels right for you. So this hand position is known as a mudra in Sanskrit. It's a physical gesture that encourages a certain state of mind. In this case, it could be said to join and consolidate your energy at the center of the body and help to turn the mind inwards. Now take a little time to bring your awareness into the body. Scan yourself from the top of the head, moving through the face, neck, shoulders and chest, noticing where any tension is. Just relax those areas as you find them. Are you sitting up straight? You don't want to slouch, and you don't want to be tense either. If you need to make some adjustments to find that balance between relaxation and an upright posture, go ahead. Notice where any remaining tension exists, if there is any. That's all you need to do, just notice. Feel the lightness in your upper body and the firm connection of your lower body as you sit on the chair or the floor. There's a kind of dignity and strength in this posture. It's called sitting like a mountain. It's a reflection of your natural right as a human being to be here on this earth, right in this moment. Now, bring your attention to your breathing. Just notice its quality. Take a deep, slow, long breath in through the nose. Let it fill your lungs completely. Then exhale through the mouth, and just let go of all tension. Deep breath in, and long breath out. Don't force the exhale, just use the out-breath to empty yourself and put all your worldly concerns aside for a while. This is just your time now. So when you're ready, close your mouth, keeping it relaxed. Rest your tongue lightly on the roof of the mouth. Breathe naturally, in through the nose and out again. Focus on how the breath feels as it enters the body. Maybe you can feel it on the tip of your nostrils. Notice how your body rises and falls with the breath. How are you breathing? See if you can breathe from the center of your body, initiating the breath with your lower abdomen. You're filling that area with breath and energy, which then expands into the rib cage, chest, and back. If this lower abdominal breathing is challenging, don't force it. Just be aware of that area, about 1/2 inch below the navel. Putting your awareness there as you breathe will help to center you, both physically and psychologically. Your awareness may wander, that's quite normal. When you notice, just bring your mind back to the breath. Just allow yourself the luxury of doing nothing else. Simply watch your own breathing. So to help you focus, you can start to count the breaths now. On your next exhale, count 1. On the exhale after that, count 2, all the way to 10, then start again. If you lose the count, simply start again. If you don't feel as though you want to count, then there's no need to. Okay, let's watch the breath now. Remember, if your mind wanders off, don't worry about it. Just come back to the breath. Just breathe. When thoughts intervene and distract you from the breath, don't fight with them. Acknowledge their presence and let them go. Think of them like clouds floating through a clear blue sky. The sky is like our pure awareness, and the clouds are the thoughts that come into that awareness. The thoughts are always changing, but the awareness behind them doesn't. In Zen, it's known as Buddha nature. It has a clarity and insight of its own. It's always been with you. It's the part of you that never changes, essentially. This meditation practice is a way of reconnecting with it, reconnecting with your true self, in effect. So let's take another few breaths now before we finish. Just sit and breathe and be right here as you are. Okay, now you can take your focus away from your breathing and let your mind think about whatever it wants to think about. Just take a last check of the body, just to see how it feels. If your posture has shifted, just notice that. Now let your attention come back to the room. Move around a bit if you want to. As you continue to practice, you may be shocked to realize just how much chatter goes on in the mind. Just noticing this is a good sign in itself. We're often so preoccupied with what we need to do next in life that we don't just see how fast the mind moves, and how that speed translates into the way we live our lives, sometimes a little too fast for comfort. As you go through the rest of the day, take a moment now and then to just stop. Just for a second. Maybe look out the window, or if you're outside, look up at the sky. It's big, isn't it? Your mind is like that too. Big. Could even be limitless. Just look up, take a breath, and remember that. See you in the next session. Welcome to session 3 in our Zen meditation course. So as before, let's take a moment to find our sitting posture. If you're on a chair, sit with your hips raised above your knees. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor. If you're sitting on the floor, your knees may be resting on the floor or close to it. You can actually use some form of padding under your knees if it makes you more comfortable. place your hands in the cosmic mudra. Keep your thumbs just lightly touching. Check that your back is straight but not tense. Tuck on your chin slightly. Think about your nose being in line with your navel. That may help you to find the best head position. Or that your ears are in line with your shoulders. Find the place where you feel that your head is aligned with your spine, and that you're not sitting with your head tilted forward or backward. You can move around a bit if you like, from side to side or back to front, until you feel you've got a stable and comfortable sitting position. So take a couple of long breaths now. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Let go of all your tension. Feel your energy moving downwards as the chest and shoulders relax on the exhale. Now begin breathing through the nose. Just be aware of the breath coming into the body and now leaving the body. Notice that pause between the inhale and the exhale, then again between the exhale and the next inhale. If you want to count the breath on each exhale, go ahead, or you can simply watch the breath. Let's do this now for 10 breaths or so. We use the breath as a focus for the mind. In fact, this kind of just sitting meditation doesn't have any particular focus. There's no object of meditation as such. There's no objective at all. The breath, though, is a convenient starting point if you haven't done much of this type of meditation before. So we'll keep breathing now, but if you like, you can drop that focus on the breath. Just sit and be for a while. You may have wandered off into a bit of a daydream. When and if that happens, and you realize it's happened, just bring your mind back to the breathing again. So, what do you do about all these thoughts that keep appearing and distracting you? You may be wondering how on earth it's possible to just sit without any objective anyway. If there is any objective, it's just to sit and stay present in the moment, but this doesn't mean you stop thinking. The classic Zen texts advise you to think about not thinking, but that's a pretty mysterious and seemingly contradictory piece of advice. How do you think about not thinking? Here's one way of approaching it. Don't try and stop your thoughts. Instead, think of yourself as the host at a party. When a thought comes along, acknowledge it as a guest and let it move on inside to the party. Don't engage with it, just let it drift on through. Then you might find there's an interval before the next guest arrives. You're in a space before thinking. When the next thought arrives, treat it the same way. If you do find yourself engaging with it, that's not a problem. When you realize that's what you're doing, you can drop the engagement and come back to the breath, or just being in the present. Let's breathe for a little longer now. So, just going back to that interval between thoughts, you may experience these as moments of clarity and stillness. You have these moments of clarity interspersed with moments of distraction. This is the natural rhythm of the mind, and now you're noticing it. And as you notice it, your mind begins to settle and calm itself a bit more. You don't have to drop your focus on the breath if you don't want to. Even using the breath as a kind of anchor, you can still find yourself being distracted by something. The most important thing to do is just acknowledge it when it happens and bring your mind back to the present moment. Let's do another few breaths before we finish. Okay, just let your focus go now. Let the mind do whatever it wants. Thoughts and distractions are always present. Just see them and don't become attached to them. Sometimes this is easy and sometimes it's not. The mind can be unpredictable from day to day. Don't judge yourself on your so-called performance from one day to the next. And don't feel that you must set goals for your meditation practice. When you sit down to meditate, simply notice what comes up and let it go. If you can't let it go, notice that too. Okay, see you soon in the next session.